Hello and welcome to Billy Ho Sports. More Independence Day action, and you can't spell Independence Day without Indy. So, I like that one. Happy 4th, friends. Enjoy the racing at Saratoga. Thanks for all the great comments and on the videos and all the support. We've got lots to do this summer and fall. The next Split the Pot bet is coming very soon. Check the description for the details. We're going to hit this Indiana Derby, have a little note on the Indiana Oaks as well. So hit that subscribe button, smash that like, leaving a comment gets you in the draw for the upcoming Split the Pot. So let's get into the action. We're going to go right to the past performances. And race number 12 at Indiana, or Indy Horseshoe, I should say, is a mile and a 16th. It is grade 3 for 3-year-olds. And we're going to start off with number 1 publisher. And this is Steve Asmussen. And he's going to have Mike Smith aboard. And breaking this one down, you toss the Kentucky Derby anytime. Good or bad. I guess you could take the good, but whenever you have a sloppy Kentucky Derby and you have a bad post draw like this one had, post position 11 is just right in the middle for a horse that just breaks out of the gate. If he would have been probably been better off waiting a half a second before all the horses went out, because he got bumped around in the beginning early and then just compromised all the way. So throw that one out. He beat Cole Battle in the Arkansas Derby previous to that. And then the Rebel was a 4th place behind Cole Battle, Madaket Road, and Sandman. So still ran a pretty good race. Not nowhere to be found in the Southwest, but I think maybe just kind of finding his way. But what I think what the Asmussen and everybody should have done with this horse was just put him out there. They tried to do it for 110, but they should have dropped this horse to like 52 maiden, and then they could have got the maiden win, and then it would have probably changed the whole trajectory of all these races. Now they're kind of pigeonholed into just throwing them in stakes races. But after this one, I think what they should do is just go back to the drawing board. If he doesn't win, then go back to a maiden race and get this dude on the board. Sired by American Pharaoh, who was a front runner, rail post 29%, does have some early speed in the past. But with Mike Smith aboard, Mike Smith likes to get him out fast. He's good from the one post. If they actually just completely switch styles and try to take this horse out fast and got him on the lead, I'd like to see how that horse did from there. But other than that, it's probably going to be an underneath only. So we'll go to Master Controller. And this one wants to all the speed. Just definitely an E8. Brittany Vandenberg and Christopher Emig, but just way outclassed in this one. Poor stakes record. I'm going to pass. Now we have Cole Battle. Now, Cole Battle, this is probably the best chance he's had to get back into the winner's circle since the Arkansas Derby when he ran 3rd. But the Kentucky Derby, he showed a little bit, just kind of faded in the stretch, made a little good move in the stretch. But then the Matt win, I thought was a really good effort. He did a great job of pressing the leader, who he was defaulted to after gaming scratched, and just wasn't enough after the 24 opening quarter, just wasn't enough to handle East Avenue. But so he kind of yielded at the end and took 3rd. But it was a really good race, and it's against somewhat lesser company here than those big timers like Burnham Square and East Avenue, who've got graded stakes wins. Uh, so Cole Battle, probably morning line favorite, but could win and could also run 2nd or 3rd. But I think he's definitely a good horse you could think about using as a key, because I don't think he leaves the podium. I think he's going to get a check 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. So quickly on Shan, not much to say here. A couple of second places at Churchill Downs, coming off the all-weather track at Turfway. I'm going to pass on that one. Not enough there. Chunk of Gold opted out. So Chunk of Gold is going to target some other race down the road. I didn't like him here anyway. So good for you. Tip Top Thomas is a very interesting horse. This second in the Champagne was a really good race, going a mile, had the lead clear in the stretch, and was just run down by a very game Chancer McPatrick, who closed like a banshee that day. And then they took off until April of 2025, and then just really didn't have much of anything at all in this 6 furlong sprint. but I don't know if that was just to get him out there. You know, sometimes horses need a race, especially young horses that only had two lifetime starts. But he bounced back in a big way at Belmont with the wire to wire victory there, and clear of Sand Devil and Mama Toll. Was some pretty solid field. Ran a 103 late pace number for that mile, and now we're just stretching it to two turns. And obviously, he hasn't been two turns, but I think the horse can get two turns. Todd Pletcher puts him in here with Johnny V, the veteran. Should get a good ride and might be an outside chance to take it home house to house, wire to wire, so to speak, kind of like Dragoon Guard did in a way in a previous Indiana Derby. Now you have Big Truz. And Big Truz was cross entered in the Iowa Derby, but per Brian Lynch, he's going in this one. Third in the Woody Stevens inside trip, roused on the rails, showed up for third, sired by Justify, so should be ready to transition to that route. And people are going to like this horse because, I mean, Big Truz is a cool name. Then you have the Flying Dutchman breeding, and then you have the sired by Justify thing. So all those lead to this horse being, I don't want to call him an underlay, but he could be possibly bet a little bit more than I want. I like 9-2 or 4-1, but I'm not going to take 7-5. So moving on to Brother Kenny. Kenny is poor in the speed figures. Kenny is the poor guy on South Park. So poor Kenny is not going to go on this race card anywhere. Did win the last race, does have a good jockey in Joe Ramos. Ramos is awesome. I believe he's like the leading jock or leading all-time jockey at Horseshoe, but don't quote me on that. So, uh, going on. Oh, instant replay is rounding out the field here. Duh, forgot about that. 4-1, looking just for that. An instant replay of that beautiful Texas Derby run. He had a perfect stalking trip in the Texas Derby and then ran down It's My Birthday. It's My Birthday, who is in the Iowa Derby. And then you have Take Charge, uh, Timmy, or whatever that horse was. I forgot, Tony. But he back-to-back wins. The Bathhouse Row was another great win. Beat Caldera, which is okay horse, you know. So not beating anybody significant, but who's really significant in this race other than Cole Battle? So instant replay would have to make a big step up, but the rest of these horses are pretty much like the horses he's ran against. Other than Chunk of Gold's not in it, but you can see Cole Battle is probably the only one that's super battle tested in this. Publisher, I guess you could argue with, he's battle tested too. Has ran up against other horses like Sovereign. I mean, they obviously ran in the Kentucky Derby, but other than that, it's a pretty solid field of horses of nine. So let's break off there and round this out. I like Big Truz opting in, makes for a really nice field, even if Chunk of Gold is out. Like I said, Asmussen and Mike Smith, if they can get the one horse, they could sit off of Tip Top Thomas in second, be right up on the lead. But Big Truz, Cole Battle, Instant Replay, all of those horses are kind of stalking rating type horses. But I am going to go with Brad Cox and Instant Replay, which is going to be hopefully an instant replay of the last two Indiana Derbies previous that he's won both. So three straight Indiana Derbies, and then I believe that's going to be three out of the last five because he had one in there previous to that. So I'm going to go with number 8 instant replay for the win, and then trifecta key box 8 with the 1, 3, 6, and 7. Just kind of spread things out a little bit. I may change that up, but those are the four horses underneath that I would consider using 1, 3, 6, and 7. And then real quick on the Indiana Oaks, it is Clicote and Heavenly Sunset both showed great speed to get it done at Churchill Downs in the last race. But normally I don't do this, but I went back and rewatched that race a few times, and of course, Clicote actually got the job done down the stretch, but she was more visibly exhausted, like she was just giving her last ditch effort to get past Heavenly Sunset. Because when they crossed the line, they were really pulling over like to the side of the road, like with a flat tire. And then Heavenly Sunset galloped out all the way to the turn. So Heavenly Sunset looked like she wasn't near as tired. So I think she comes out of that race better, and I think she's going to win the race. So I'm going to give it to Heavenly Sunset. But I like Deloraine. Deloraine's also had some quality races facing horses like Lacara three back in Tampa. And she finished third on the turf behind Nitrogen and Lush Lips in the Gazelle. Also, a Gazelle third place finish there. I just don't know if she's got the speed to win the race, but like I said, she'll join them on the podium most likely. So I would definitely use Deloraine underneath, and then something with Heavenly Sunset. Maybe you could toss Clicquot, but that's it for the show. I did want to briefly mention the six Golden Eye Magic. I think it's going to be real tough for that horse to come off 2 weeks after that grinder at Thistledown. But man, if that horse is big odds and she can shake off the 2 weeks rest, she could definitely get close. So that is your Indy Horseshoe for tomorrow. And I will go Heavenly Sunset for the win with the 236 underneath. And that's all for the show. Have a great Independence Day. Stay safe. Best of luck. See you soon.